On a cold rainy night, a poor old grandmother shared her last piece of bread with a hungry child. But she never knew that the child was magical, and her small act of kindness was about to change her life forever. Let's start this story. In a small village surrounded by green fields and muddy roads, there lived an old grandmother named Mira. She was very poor and lived alone in a tiny broken hut at the edge of the village. Every morning before sunrise, Mira walked into the forest to collect firewood. She would carry the heavy bundle on her weak shoulders and sell it in the market for a few coins. With that money, she bought a little rice and vegetables to survive. Even though she had very little, Mira was kind to everyone. She always smiled and helped people whenever she could. But the villagers often ignored her because she was poor. One cold evening, dark clouds covered the sky. Heavy rain started pouring down. Thunder shook the whole village. Mira hurried home with her wet firewood bundle. She was tired, hungry, and shivering from the cold. When she reached her hut, she found only one piece of bread left to eat. She lit a small oil lamp and sat quietly near the window. Suddenly, knock, knock. Someone was at the door. Mira slowly opened it and saw a small boy standing outside in the rain. The boy's clothes were torn, and his face looked pale with hunger. "Grandmother, please help me," the boy said softly. "I haven't eaten anything for 2 days." Mira looked at the last piece of bread in her hand. She herself had not eaten since morning. For a moment, she stayed silent. Then she smiled gently and said, "Come inside, child." The boy sat near the lamp while rainwater dripped from his clothes. Mira gave him her only bread and a cup of warm water. The boy ate quickly because he was starving. After eating, he looked at Mira with teary eyes. "You are very kind," he said. Mira smiled and replied, "When someone is hungry, helping them is the greatest prayer." The boy suddenly stood up. A strange golden light began glowing around him. Mira was shocked. The tiny hut filled with bright light. The boy no longer looked weak and poor. He looked magical and divine. Mira stepped back in fear. The boy no longer looked weak and poor. He looked magical and divine. Mira's eyes filled with tears. The magical child raised his hand and said, "From today, your kindness will return to you forever." In a second, the light disappeared. The storm outside also stopped. Mira looked around her tiny hut in confusion. Then suddenly, she noticed bags of rice, fresh fruits, vegetables, and warm blankets appearing inside the room. Her broken roof became strong again. The old oil lamp turned bright and beautiful. Mira could not believe her eyes. The next morning, villagers gathered outside her house in surprise. "How did this happen?" they asked. Mira simply smiled and said, "Kindness is never wasted." From that day, Mira never stayed hungry again. But she did something even more beautiful. Every evening, she cooked food for poor children and hungry travelers. Soon, the entire village changed. People became kinder and started helping each other. And every time someone asked Mira the secret of happiness, she would say, "Real wealth is not gold or money. Real wealth is a good heart."